Hey there, welcome to One Take, powered by backers.
Right? No judging. No judging.
The millennials are really changing that.
Is charm. No.
All success begins with desire.
I feel like I'm on fire right now.
OMG, baby, tell them.
Hey there, welcome to One Take, powered by backers. Justin Fox, founder and CEO of Backers. I am joined here by Jodi Vetterl from Breathe to Go, but also the Novel Tech Group, Inc. You're the co-founder and COO. Jodi, thank you very much for joining me here.
Hi, Justin. Thanks so much for having me.
So quick intro. So you are the COO and co-founder of the Novel Tech Group, right? And which is basically the creators of Breathe to Go. You said a world-renowned writer? No, what was it? Best-selling author, in high-tech software sales experts. Did I forget something? You can help with the intro there. I didn't have it written down this time. Usually I'll have it written down.
Yeah, you're
I'm winging it. I am. The whole thing is winging
or
it.
anything like that.
The whole thing is winging it. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. No problem. Yeah. So my background is I had 20 years of high-tech software sales.
Yeah.
Including engineering and simulation software across all physics, across all disciplines of engineering. And I left that career, wrote a book called Beyond the Banks, and built a course around the book, became an international speaker, course creator and author, and I've been in a few books as well, a few collaborative projects. And what we're doing, my business partner, Beata Jareva, and myself, is we've created a respiratory wellness device that we have under the name of Breathe to Go.
Mm-hmm.
And it is based on halotherapy. It's creating a portable halotherapy device. And what halotherapy is, dry salt inhalation with using pharmaceutical grade salt. And then we've also co-written a book together called The Respiratory Revolution: Unlocking the Secrets of Salt Therapy for Healthy Lungs. And we are launching both of those, both the device and the book, this year in 2024.
And just also, you are also just went live on the Backers funding portal, as you are raising capital on Backers. So congrats to that, or thank you for joining our ever growing ecosystem of founders that are raising capital on the Backers platform. So and we did say the intro off air, and then I didn't write it down, and I apologize, but
That's okay.
So obviously, let's talk a little bit about, I was actually at Beata and the space there out in Surrey, the sort of the multi what would you call it, sort of multi-practitioner health and wellness clinic or facility, and she has the salt room. So we got to try that out. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what salt therapy is, and maybe why Breathe to Go is important, and sort of what, obviously you're looking for investors, so check out their offering on Backers if it's something that would be interesting to you, check it out and potentially look to invest in it. Do your own due diligence. I can't tell anyone to do it, but go check it out. Why would somebody want to invest? Like, what is it about Breathe to Go? What is it about salt therapy? How is it helping people, and why would somebody want to kind of invest in what you guys are up to?
Yeah, great. Thanks. Thanks, Justin. So yeah, just to kind of take a step back and talk a little bit about my business partner, Beata, in her clinic. So she does have a integrated wellness clinic called Bioimmune. It's out in Surrey, and and it does have a salt room, and so it's basically creates the experience of if you were in a salt cave in Eastern Europe. The history behind that is that when back in the day, there was when there's mining, all different types of mining that happens within caves, there's a lot of respiratory issues. But they found that when they were mining in the salt caves, there was no respiratory issues.
Okay.
And so they started to explore why is it that there's no respiratory issues when we're mining in salt. And as we know, many of us know, it's very common to, gurgle with salt. And if you
Right.
get a sore throat, we know that the salt is anti-inflammatory, it's
Right.
antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial.
Right.
And so with Beata's clinic, there's people that come from all over to go in that clinic because there's not very many. It's very challenging to build a salt room in a building because you have to customize the HVAC. It's a great expense. There's a lot of other things that you can do besides building a salt room to make money and to
Right.
build in some sort of a health clinic. But the salt is very, very effective for many different ailments. So not only can it be used as preventative, it can be used to help support the lungs of people who are struggling with COPD or with cystic fibrosis or any sort of bronchial infection, pneumonia, COVID, long COVID. Not making claims, just that it does help support the lungs because the salt has a negative ion charge. And there are little hairs on the lung wall that collect the mucus and it's very sticky. And the salt will actually attract the mucus off the lung walls and your body, that it bundles it up and then your body disposes of it. So
Right.
in writing the book, what's been really wonderful is that Beata has this, very substantial collection of testimonials.
Right.
And just spending the time there and hanging out. I mean, I met this one elderly gentleman who was driving in from Chilliwack, which that's a good, hour and a half drive. He was doing that 3 times a week because he had this chronic cough for 8 years.
Mhm.
He'd been through all the medical stuff, a heart rate monitor, had the lungs checked, had the this check that, everything, took, the different medicines and antibiotics and allergies and all sorts of stuff, could not clear it. The only thing that has helped this gentleman is coming and sitting in that salt room 3 times a
Really?
week. And so from that, we sort of go, well, how can we make this more available, more portable, more accessible to people so that they don't have to drive so far to go to a salt room, and or there's so few of them out
Right.
there.
Because of the costs, as you alluded to earlier.
Yeah. So what
Right.
we've done is we've designed and engineered with an engineering group a portable device that you can carry in your purse, in your backpack. You can go travel if you have a big conference to go to and you have, some concerns about, viruses or anything that's sort of, in the news spreading around. You can take some few moments. You can, breathe in some salt. You coat your sinus cavity, your throat, and it goes down into the lung tree. And the nice thing about salt is that these are such fine particles that they actually go into the lower respiratory. Like the delivery of the salt goes quite deep into the lung tree. And so you can create a protection for yourself.
Mhm.
And then after you've been at a conference and you've been shaking a bunch of hands or you've been on an airplane or whatever, you can then, follow up with another treatment of the device and just sort of clear off anything that may have come into your system. So if you think of like the cruise ships that have 800 people getting COVID on them, or
Right.
norovirus, or anything like this, this can be taken with you and used as a preventative method.
So it's both proactive and sort of reactive in both regards, right? It can help
Exactly.
coat
And even exactly. And even, for those people out there that have an addiction to smoking and want a tool to be able to support them through the quitting of smoking. And as we know, many people, when they quit smoking, they cough up just so much stuff that's
mucus.
trapped in their lung wall, like all the
Right.
chemicals and all the crap in there. So there's been some studies on how salt can help actually move that stuff out of the lung wall faster. So if there's somebody out there that's like, you know what, I would love to quit smoking. I don't know how to do it. I've tried it before. I can't stand that coughing. This is a tool that they can also use to help support that transition out of smoking. And once your lungs are clear, you don't want to go and put it back in there, right?
Right, right.
Mhm.
So tell us a little. So obviously, Breathe to Go. Do you have actually, not to put you on the spot, do you have the newest prototype? I know you showed it to me the
I
other
do
day.
not.
You don't have
I
it
do
with you
not
then?
have
Okay.
that with me. No,
Okay.
it is in the hands of Beata right now out
Okay.
at her clinic, and she's
No
been
worries.
testing it out. We are, we do have patent pending on the device. And we hold our trademarks as well. So I know those are important things for investors.
Yeah.
And we've got we're really happy with the design. We are also additionally creating a medical device that would be, we'll have a wellness line. That'll be the first product that will go out
Right.
for like what we've just been talking about. And then we also are going through the proper steps to get regulated from like a Health Canada and FDA perspective.
Right.
So we will have that, but we'll actually be doing some exciting things with IoT, Internet of Things, for those who not know exactly what that is.
Right.
I've been working with the IoT stuff since 2011, 2012, because the
Right.
company that I used to work for, that was like, that was something that it was like, whenever we went to a conference or talked to any clients, we were like, what's your IoT strategy? And nobody had heard about it.
Right.
But it's because I had bosses down in Silicon Valley. So it was all kind of coming from there. So now it's getting more popular. And just really, for those of you who may not know, it's basically, putting things like Bluetooth sensors and whatnot into different, devices and things like that can actually like read data. So we will have an IoT strategy for our version 2 and for our medical device.
So yeah, IoT, yeah, like smart fridges, things like that, things that,
Yeah.
devices around you that are, utilizing,
An app
they're
or
connected. Basically, everything's connected to the internet. So they're smart devices in and around you. I also worked sort of in the IoT space in around that same time, 2010, 2011. We were tying, grid tying. We were more on the energy side of things, but grid tying and doing like you could have, your fridge know that it was out of milk kind of thing and send the message to the or smart home monitors and things of that nature, right? Which now
Yeah.
everyone has them. Okay, so obviously the overall business, Novel Tech Group is the idea is to bring out different medical devices. Breathe to Go is one of the first, if not the first, device that you're bringing out as a business. So let's sort of take a quick sort of or sidestep a little bit. So let's say I'm an investor. I've come to the backers funding portal, or I've come to your LinkedIn, and I'm interested to sort of hear about what's going on, or what kind of business am I investing in, what kind of revenue or projections, where can you see that business going? What are some of maybe the exit strategies? Do you want to, I mean, not necessarily go through the whole deck and the whole business plan, but high level, like if you had the 1,000 floor elevator pitch,
Right.
where here's where we're at, here's our sort of our team, this is the market, this is kind of where we see our business going, give us kind of a quick hitter, synopsis of it.
Of course, yeah. So what we're going to do is we are launching this year in Canada, and then we will be opening it up in the US, and then furthermore reaching out to places like India and Brazil and basically the global market. We've got some really interesting connections with India. I spent 6 months in India myself back in 1996. And back in 1996, they said a day in Delhi was like smoking 2 packs of cigarettes.
Okay,
because
so
of
from the air pollution, right? Okay.
Yeah, so it's that much worse now. And
Right.
so their government is constantly looking for good solutions. So we are in discussions with some of the government people and some of the doctors and whatnot related to a couple of hospitals in India. So there's just a massive market. I mean, they have a massive population. And they have a massive issue with respiratory issues because of pollution. So that is a huge market that we're actually going to be going after. And so that's very exciting. And I can't wait to get back to India because it's been a long time since I've been there. So I'm excited about that. And then, so yeah, we're going to be launching this year the book and the device together. We've got some interesting marketing strategies around that, with the being able to have 2 different assets to be launched at once. I mean, you can think the marketing strategies are endless. And we've brought on a gentleman by the name of John Banks. He is coming on as he's come on as our president. Beata is the CEO, and John has 25 years in life sciences. So he's kind of the business, he is a business strategist, high level. He comes in and does mergers, acquisitions, integrations, helps scale businesses, commercialize and all these things. He's really just an excellent person to bring into the mix, between very complementary to what skills I have and what skills Beata has. And he actually did the merger acquisition and integration for AstraZeneca back in the early 2000s. He's worked with GlaxoSmithKline. He's worked with Pfizer and a bunch of different things. So he's already brought some, brilliant things into what we're doing.
Right.
And then we have a board of directors that is been forming. We have a Nobel Medical Prize runner-up on glutathione, who has joined our board. Our book has been edited by a doctor out of Morocco, who is doing his residency in cardiology.
Okay.
And we have Beata. She's brilliant. She's part of many different advisory boards, including the Global Health Alliance and the Global Halotherapy. And she also was the Canadian representative and only female on a long COVID pilot study and halotherapy, how the use of the pharmaceutical grade salt, the halotherapy aspect, dry salt therapy, could help with recovery of long COVID. So she's very, very enriched into that world. And just to speak to her a little bit more, is that when she grew up in Eastern Europe, in Slovakia, and there's salt caves there. And when she was a young girl, her dad had a respiratory issue. It was kind of like an allergy kind of / bronchial situation. And it's very, very common for doctors to prescribe
salt therapy.
Yeah, to go to these salt caves, these
Or salt
natural
caves.
salt caves for like 2 weeks. So he went and stayed there like a
wow.
whole for like 2 weeks in the salt to help support and recover from his respiratory issues. And he makes an annual trip there every year and so on and so forth. So when she was here and then, COVID had started, she really kind of put her neck out and was like looking for some sort of a salt treatment because her daughter has asthma. And she was very concerned about the COVID and the asthma and all of that kind of stuff. And there was a salt clinic that was going bankrupt because they were, locked down and couldn't open the doors. And so Beata created it, like picked it up and created it for friends and family, and then created an essential business use.
Right.
So she was able to keep her doors open and help a lot of people. And then it's just grown from there. And then she's joined all these boards and she's really in the thick of it. So it's been
Been an interesting journey.
partnering with her. Yes,
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
very
yeah.
knowledgeable.
Yeah.
But like when my son is sick, I take him out to the salt room and the next day he's fine. He's sleeping that night.
Right.
And you know what it's like when your kid is sick and they're coughing through the night and you're up all night and it's just such a good tool in the tool kit to have.
Yeah, definitely. So okay, so you guys have I mean, obviously the need for it is there. You've brought on, as you mentioned, John Banks from the UK, who's come in, as you said, he was part of the creation or formation of the merger, if you will, of AstraZeneca. So definitely, you've got some heavy hitters on the team there. So where do you see, you mentioned the book and and just to those watching, the book is very much an educational kind of tool so people can kind of go through. It's a fairly thick, like extensive book that goes through the use cases and why and the hows and everything, right, of the device, right?
So it basically it introduces like what is halotherapy, what is the origins of salt and salt therapy in this kind of context, and then it goes through the different ailments, and we've been able to use the firsthand testimonials from Beata's salt rooms that she's had, and so it's not just coming from wherever. It's actually people that are her clients that come in and depend on the salt room to clear up their respiratory and sinus issues and skin as well, like because it does also help with things like eczema and psoriasis and stuff.
Okay.
And then so it talks about these different ailments. It's all backed by scientific papers, trial, white papers, clinical trials, that kind of stuff. And then and we've got some partners with alternative treatments, therapies, things like that are also, we wanted to make basically it's a resource book. So it's like, what is this, a lot of people, again, being from here, it's not very common for people to go to a salt room or to even think about it.
Right.
And it's very different from going to a Himalayan salt room too. It's not, some people get those Himalayan lamps and stuff, and then they do these really cool, they look so beautiful inside the rooms and stuff, but that salt is mined with those Himalayan salts. What I understand and through the research is that they're mined with they're using explosive material, right? They're basically going in and they're doing some sort of detonation to access these things. And so if you think about like what's in dynamite and stuff that they use for mining, there is going to be fine particles that are chemicals.
Right.
You don't want to be breathing that stuff in. So going to like a Himalayan salt room is a very different thing than going to a halotherapy. The halotherapy is an actual big machine that grinds the pharmaceutical grade salt down and then blows it into the room. It's a very, very specific, like if you ever go to a salt room, make sure that it is halotherapy. Make sure you ask if is this, pharmaceutical grade salt, dry salt therapy treatment, because you want to make sure that you're not breathing in something that you
that you don't want to be breathing in, right? No,
exactly, because
yeah.
these are very fine particles, and they
Right.
go down into the lower respiratory, so yeah.
Definitely. So, okay, so you've got the book, you've got the device, you're launching the device. As you said, you're in the process, patent pending, but you're in the process also of going through sort of the Health Canada sort of regulatory and FDA type regulatory approvals so that you can start getting the device and selling it into the public. So why don't we sort of pivot a little bit? Tell us a little bit about, again, sort of from an investor perspective, it is it's a arguably a naturopathic type of medicine or alternative medical device, if you will. But let's talk a little bit about the business side of it. It obviously is going to help a tremendous number of people. If I'm looking to invest, $1,000, $2,500 into the novel tech group, right? Or arguably into Breathe to Go and other devices. What am I looking at? Where do you see? Throw some numbers at us. Revenues over the next, let's say 1, 3, 5. Not necessarily. You don't have to be exact. Obviously, I know it's a moving. I know things are very, things are fluid. I know a lot's going on. That's a lot of early stage startups. That is the case. There's a lot of moving parts. But overall, as an investor, what can I expect to get as a shareholder? And I'll just read to preface this a little bit. So you're currently selling Class C non-voting shares. They're currently priced, and this is on the offering. People want to check it out, backers.ca. Click on invest in startups or go to portal.backers.ca and you'll see Breathe to Go and Novel Tech Group there. It's 64 cents per share. The minimum investment is $100. The maximum offering, so you're currently offering $400,000 for roughly 3.2%, approximately 3.2%, which puts the business at a roughly $12.5 million valuation. So people understand what they're investing in. You have a device, multiple prototypes have been built. You have the most recent version, which maybe we'll get you on again, or I'm going to probably have Beata on in the next day or two as well, maybe next week. So maybe if she has it, I'll get her to show everyone what the device looks like. You have the team, you're building the team. There's been a chunk of money that's been invested in this business. Where do you see the business going 2024, 2025, 2026 kind of thing? Let's say over the next 3 years into kind of 2027, 2028 kind of timeframe. What can people expect? Revenues, business, where is it going? Dollars and cents. Rough dollars and cents.
Oh,
yeah.
geez. You're putting me on the spot.
A little bit. I feel that. I know, and we've had these conversations. Things are changing. I realize they're evolving, but roughly, like,
right now,
yeah.
So right now, like our valuation, we based our valuation. It's a little bit outdated, just because we've had some updates since we did the evaluation, but at the time it was about 12.5 million.
Yeah.
But that was only taking into consideration Canada. And so if you take a look at how many people in Canada there are and how many people that have respiratory issues, like even if we tapped into I think 1% of the Canadian market, we're looking at, gosh, you're getting me on my numbers here because I don't have my slideshow in front of me, but I think it's 700,000. That's just the tip of the iceberg, right?
Right.
And then we do have to spend some time on the US market and also India, which will be
A
bring
bigger
up the
market, as you said.
valuation
Yeah.
quite substantially. And we do have a really large opportunity at the latter half of this year in Q4 to participate in a very large festival in India that would ultimately be a minimum of 100,000 units itself.
Right.
We're working towards that. We don't have that all like locked up, but if that is going to take place, that's going to be substantial.
Right.
And so in terms of 3 years out, something like that, we are projecting to be at, over 300 million in revenue, and then eventually, we would exit out of that. But we'd be building, at that time we'll be having like both our wellness line, our medical device line, the IoT aspect of it, and then there's a few other products and businesses that we would be looking to acquire and or innovate ourselves,
Right.
to be part of this, and John is the perfect person to bring us through this, because this is his wheelhouse.
Right. So just to reiterate, I want to clarify so everyone heard, because you kind of cut out literally at the most inopportune point. So just to do math there, so 100,000 units, how much do you sell a unit for? Out of your mouth? I know what you do, but I'd love to, what is the cost that you're selling them for?
Roughly right now, we've got it listed at $497. That is based on the manufacturing costs that we've been able to bring it down. It's we think we might be able to bring the manufacturing cost down a little bit more,
Right.
but we're just we're still squaring away the final design, the motor and the costs of
Right.
that. It's tricky.
Right.
It's
Right.
tricky. It's tricky, with like getting all the components and everything. We've what we're going to do is we'll first manufacture only 1,000 units, get
Right.
those out to the market, get feedback, do all the things to make sure that the design is tight. We have a really cool little sizzle feature that's going to be on the design as well. And then, after that point, then we would be looking at 10,000 units.
So math-wise, you said, just to reiterate, what were you saying? 3 years from now, what could be the revenue, projected revenue annually would be? You said the
Was
number
over 300, yeah.
over 300 million, right? So, I mean, so just for those watching, I mean, those are some significant numbers, some significant growth in. Now, those are revenue. Obviously, you mentioned, cost of goods and sort of production stuff will come down. So, you're charging about $500 per unit. So, I mean, people watching can do the math, right? So there's huge opportunity. There's a huge market. It's underserved. Is there really any competition in the space right now?
Yeah, so there's kind of like so there's obviously salt rooms with the big large halo generators. They're
Right.
about, I understand they're about between $10,000 and $15,000 plus to set up a room and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
You're looking at about $1.5 million to get a room set up. Excuse me. And then there are some portable devices that would sit on a desk and plug into the wall.
Right.
Maybe you sit in a little portable tent, that kind of a thing that you can have as home therapy. And then there's really just like two other small, like ones that you would actually like carry in your purse or your backpack or your briefcase or whatever you have. And one of them is electrically dangerous.
Okay.
It is not like CSA approved or anything like that. And so there's actually components that, yeah, so I don't want to kind of, but there's, and it's retailing around $1,000. And then there's another one that is retailing, I think it's $12.95 US or something like that. That's a little bit bigger and bulkier.
Okay.
But you could certainly, but it's more of a plug-in one. Ours
Okay.
is going to be wireless
Right.
and
Wireless and portable and smaller, right?
wireless and portable.
Right.
Yeah, correct.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And obviously, like you said, arguably half or a third even of the price potentially of others. So there is a bit of a market out there.
Yeah, and the other one is also like one of the other ones is actually like machined. So it's when something is machined, it's like it's more expensive and it's low volume. And ours is using a manufacturing technique where we can do high volume and lower costs.
Right,
Mhm.
right. And that's where you also can see potentially some of those costs come down as the volumes go up
Correct.
as well, right? So I mean, so definitely the potential is there. You've got a product in market. I mean, if somebody's coming in to invest at, that 12.5 million valuation, what would you say to them? I mean, or is this a good investment or yeah, what, I mean, you've already said that arguably the
I mean, we
valuation's
think
already
so.
gone up. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We think it's
Well,
a great investment. And I think that the team that is behind this is is the team that is forming is we have some heavy hitters here, and I think that there is that skill set that will be able to really accomplish what we're set out to accomplish.
right,
And at the end of the day, our hearts and desires are that we want to be able to have people supported, support their get their lungs into optimal condition,
right,
as well as help people with the fear. I mean, the pandemic that we all experience, and we all have our own stories and
right,
experiences that we went through. But at the end of the day, there was a lot of fear that was, pushed out to us. I mean, I remember washing groceries and, like all of that stuff, right?
right,
And for elderly people, or for people that were like, in the elderly homes and things like that, to be able to have something like this, it's another, it's a tool in the toolbox that can help people from a preventative perspective, and it can help support the lungs, to help, support whatever recovery that is going on with
right.
them. It's also very good for athletes as well. And, Beata will talk more to this. She was a professional athlete herself. And,
Not to cut you off on that. I've heard that several times, but what sport? Because she's never, I think, was it volleyball? Because I've
no,
heard that a couple times, but I've
yeah,
never been able to ask.
she was doing like track and
Track.
field.
Okay. Was it track? Okay. I wasn't sure.
And I think swimming as well.
Okay. Okay.
Like I've been swimming at the lake with her in the river.
Okay.
You should just see, like, she just,
She's like a boat herself.
oh
She's
yeah.
just motoring across. Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
So yeah, she's definitely yeah. So but it helps like optimize the lungs and
Right.
bring in more oxygen into the lungs. So
Right. Was
mhm.
able to clear out like you said, the mucus, which is often one of the issues, right? As one part of it. So obviously the medical benefits, as you said, have been sort of studied. You've got the device in hand, the current, which is an iteration, as you've shown me, sort of models. It's ready, it's on sort of the precipice of being sort of regulated, if you will, through the would you say, medical, no, not, what is it?
Well, there's Health
Health
Canada.
Canada, Health Canada. I couldn't even think of
FDA,
that.
yeah.
And then the
So
FDA,
FDA
right?
is
So
the
the
US.
US obviously, right? So product, close to market, you've got the book, the education, there's a lot of marketing strategy. So let's actually touch on that. You're currently raising 400,000. I think the goal we discussed, might be more, but currently raising 400,000 on the backers platform. What is the use of funds going to be, once you receive or raise that 400,000?
Yeah, great question. So with so to date, the funding has come from both myself and Beata. So we haven't actually used any, we don't actually have any current shareholders. So backers is the first thing that we're doing and exploring. And some of the things that we're going to be using it for are there's another patent application we want to put in. There's some engineering, a little bit more engineering needs to be done for the final phase.
Right.
And lots of administration stuff, from legal to accounting to setting up the warranties. We have packaging that we are going to be starting to design as well when the funding starts to come in, building up our website, our online presence, just basically our online strategy, because we're going to be selling direct to consumer through online.
Right.
And as well as we have we're going to also be selling most likely, it's a really good sort of, shopping channel product,
Right.
and
Sort of like quick.
and white labeling as well.
Right.
We are just we have some really, really good connections and potential partners who are interested in the white labeling aspect, like big commercial companies and things like that. And so yeah, we definitely need to get going with our online strategy. And there's going to be things like content creation, pictures, photography, videos. We want to make sure that we're putting out good quality material so that people can really experience the look and feel of the device, and how it functions, and be able to put that all together for the consumer.
It's interesting you mentioned the shopping channel. So this is almost like, so everyone that's watching, this is like Shark Tank or Dragon's Den. And I remember one of them, and I just kind of quickly looked it up. I think her name was Lori Grenier, was on she was kind of on the QVC, which is sort of like the shopping
QVC, yes, yeah.
shopping channel kind of type
US, yeah.
US, but yeah. So I mean, this now, and this is kind of what the whole thing of backers is, you now can be a shark and invest in a product, with the, Novel Tech Group, with, Breathe to Go, as they roll this out to the masses, right? And being an early stage investor in obviously this company that is, and we talk about like sort of risk levels, right? And not that there's no risk, and there's always risk in everything, but there's definitely stages of risk. And it sounds like what you've been able to accomplish, you've taken obviously the initial risk with your own funds and Beata and the team. And now, that risk has been somewhat de-risked, right? You've got a product, you've got, you're much further along than where you were when you started, obviously, right? And so somebody's coming in.
And we have skin in the game.
Skin in the game, exactly.
We have skin in the game, and we were very, both Beata and I have invested in many other companies. My whole program that I had before, related to my previous book, it was related to private money investing and real estate and things like that. So we understand, I've invested in, products, innovations, real estate, all sorts of different things. And so, I don't take it lightly to be working with investor capital. And there was, it was very important to me and also Beata that we were, at a point where, we had the prototype, the working prototype. We had the patents in, the trademarks in, and we had certain things that we wanted to hit these certain milestones before we would even start to engage with investors, because we do have people around us that are would be willing to put in 25, 50, even 100,000, but we really just wanted to get to a certain point where we wanted to make sure that we were at a certain stage,
Right.
and we were with our last the last company that we were working with for the engineering and manufacturing. We weren't particularly happy with like what came of it, the outcome of it. And so it was a bit of a setback. But moving forward, we ended up finding this fantastic group called 3BA, and they've just done an extraordinary job pulling it all together and very quickly. And so we just have a few like the mechanism, what's happening, the internal, everything there is set. That's all in working order. The overall design is complete. There's just a couple of little features and some electronics that were in that final phase
Sort
of
of
the
tinkering
prototype.
with a little bit, kind of.
Yeah, because it's you want to get the inside designed, which we had, and then we wanted to get the form right, so function and form, and then now it's like the highlights, right, like the sizzle features, which is the electronics, and making sure that everything is that is working, buttons, color, the lights, and
Right.
the stuff that is the sizzle,
Right.
sizzle.
Not necessarily, yeah, exactly. Not the form and function, but that sizzle that people will maybe appreciate a little more. But
our function and form are generally are tight now, and it's the final look and feel.
And so, like you were saying, you obviously have invested in other organizations, businesses, real estate, different entities. So you understand what it's like to go to investors or to be an investor that's being approached. You have other kind of people waiting at the wings to kind of invest in this as well. And now you feel that now is the time to go out to the market. You're ready to bring on those investors, and which is why part of, if not what you're raising, is coming through backers, which is opening up to a new investor pool that previously didn't exist for entrepreneurs, right? The non-accredited, non-friends and family, basically everyone else, the other 99% of the population that have been previously restricted from investing in private companies. So let's talk about, so you're obviously you're North Van. You guys are Vancouver based or arguably lower mainland based, BC based company, with a bit of a network. What would you say to kind of, we'll sort of shift gears a little bit here. What would you say to other entrepreneurs, other founders that are kind of launching a business in BC, arguably? What are some of the ideas or thoughts you would give to them that you've kind of maybe struggled with, or sort of just kind of your own advice if you had to kind of give back to somebody starting out today? What are some thoughts you might have on that? Sort of again, shifting complete gears away from sort of Breathe to Go, but more just to you as an entrepreneur, as a founder, co-founder of Breathe to Go and the Novel Tech Group. What are some pieces of advice you might give to other founders or aspiring founders?
For sure. No, great question. I mean, doing this is for sure not for the faint of heart.
I think everyone says that same thing. Everyone,
it's a lot of work. make sure you have some sort of passive income or something set up,
Okay,
so that
yeah.
you have money coming in while you can focus your time on it. There's only so much you can do on the side, as a side hustle, with time and all of that kind of stuff before it's full on.
Right.
And just, yeah, I mean, one of the things that, is definitely can be challenging finding the right facilities, the, engineering and manufacturing, especially here locally. It can be a bit of a challenge.
Right.
And because, everybody, there's so much of it done overseas. But we wanted to make sure that it was Canadian made.
Okay.
And we also wanted to make sure that, we could have it close to home for the first, X amount of units.
Right.
We're open to doing some things overseas and maybe having an assembly here, but we're exploring various things in that aspect. One thing that's been really, really handy is the Surrey Board of Trade. Beata is a member of the Surrey Board of Trade.
Okay.
I used to
Shout
be,
out to the Surrey Board of Trade. There you go.
yeah, I used to be a member of the Vancouver Board of Trade and
Okay.
Chamber of Commerce and stuff out here. And they're very, very valuable, because, but the Surrey Board of Trade, I mean, it's been a number of years since I've participated in the Vancouver Board of Trade, mind you, but I'm just so impressed with the Surrey Board of Trade, like the caliber of the meetings that they have is extraordinary. I mean, it's very impressive. And the lady who runs it, Anita, I think her name is Anita, she Beata is closer to it than I am. But she just really, a lot of support, right?
Right.
Because really their idea is that, they want you to be building businesses
Within their
their jurisdiction,
Right.
and they want to help support the success of it because it creates jobs, it creates manufacturing, it creates, connections, all sorts of things. So yeah, really there are some fabulous networks. Beata's in another really cool CEO accelerator network. She's in there with like, just very like people who've got their own private jets and stuff like that.
Right.
And they
Okay.
meet once a month in this boardroom and they all like help. It's like a mastermind for CEOs.
Right.
And we've been able to get some really great feedback and support and connections out of those kinds of things. And make sure you have the right team members, right?
Mm-hmm.
That can like when, for us to bring on John, that was really key. I mean,
Yeah.
that guy is that fellow is, he we haven't, Beata and I had not we've both run our own businesses and have entrepreneurial spirits and have, put out books and things like that. But having somebody who's actually commercialized, brought, I've gone from ideation to commercialization and understands, M&A integration and exiting a company, scaling and all that kind of stuff is really key. And they're worth their weight in gold for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the scaling and exiting, I think, too, are, a lot of people sort of overlook that, especially when they're starting out, structuring your business, in a way that you can scale it and have it, and you mentioned the local sort of grown at home, if you will, aspect too, or produce at home. So a lot of, interesting points there. So cool. Well, where can they find you? Obviously, they can find your offering on backers.ca or portal.backers.ca. Check out the Breathe to Go offering there. Where else can they find you?
Well, you can definitely look on the Bioimmune Integrated Wellness Instagram. Beata's got a lot of stuff up there. We've started our Breathe to Go Instagram,
Okay.
and we are just starting it.
Okay. So
So we've got a lot
newly
there.
minted. Yeah.
Newly minted, um, and you know, we do own the breathetogo.com URL, and you know, all of that's going to come together when we get backed, because we need to be able to fund all these things, and that's really what we need. I mean, we're like the heavy lifting is done, you know, like the heavy lifting of like getting the prototype, getting everything working, getting the patent filed, all of that kind of stuff. That's all like at a great spot. Now it's time to, okay, what are we doing for packaging, and you know, building out our online presence and our store and all that kind of stuff. That
Yeah.
when you're backing us, that's what you're backing into, and backing us up for, and then, you know, the sales will happen very, very quickly. We just need a little bit of support there from
From the backers. And that, I mean, it's the marketing, right? It's the go-to-market strategy. You've got the product, you're pretty much at the starting line. You now need to sort of build that awareness and take it to market. So that's what the money's there for. Awesome. Jodi, appreciate you joining me today. Thank you very much. I will again, so any final thoughts? We'll leave it at that one.
Well, I
Any
just, you
final
know,
thoughts? What do you want to say? Yeah.
I do want to thank you, Justin, because I mean, you helped us out a lot getting this up and going, and
My
it
pleasure.
was
Happy to help.
yeah, it was a nice thing. We are also like looking to put together that Kickstarter campaign. It's a lot of work, and we decided that you know, working with you before anything is key, and we really see the value in what you're offering here. I
Awesome.
also coming from the real estate world, had been familiar with this business model from a real estate, like the Addy Invest and stuff like that. So it's a great model, and we're excited and hopeful that that it's all come
Let's
together.
bring it all together and make it bring the investors in, the backers in, and get the product out, get everyone, you know, make everyone happy, right? And
Yes, I
change
mean,
the
we all
world,
want to
right?
make everybody. We all want to be able to make people money who invest in our innovation and what we're
Mhm.
doing here. And we also want to be able to bring this product to market to really help people with their breathing.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There you have it. Jodi, appreciate it. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate the kind words as well. We're excited to have you on the portal as well. So check out Jodi and Beata and Breathe to Go on the backers platform. Again, Justin Fox, Jodi, Vetterl. Yes. Anyways, that's my bane is last names, but I think I got it.
You have such an easy
I
last
do.
name.
Mine is just but anyways, Breathe to Go, check it out, backers. This is One Take powered by backers, and I will see you guys again very soon. Thanks, Jodi.
Thank you.
Hey there, welcome to One Take powered by backers. Right?
No judging.
Yeah.
No judging.
The millennials are really changing that.
Is charm. No.
All success begins with desire.
I feel like I'm on fire right now.
OMG.